Dear students, welcome to Biology PUC second year class. The earlier classes we have studied about the introduction of ecosystem, which comes under the unit called ecology. In the previous classes, we have studied about the meaning of ecosystem, different types of ecosystem. So this will be the one of the ecosystem which you are seeing in the diagram. This is also called the ecosystem. Ecosystem means surrounding that we live in. In simple term, if you want to say, the meaning of ecosystem is the surrounding that we live in, or other words. Otherwise, it is also said an ecosystem is a functional unit of nature where living organisms interact each other and also with the physical environment, abiotic components. So the diagram which you are seeing here, this is one of the ecosystem. There are different types of ecosystem. Among them, this will be the one of the ecosystem. So ecosystem is of different types. One is called the terrestrial ecosystem. This we have studied. Some of the examples of the terrestrial ecosystem is forest, grassland, desert, etc. Aquatic ecosystem, where we find inside the water, pond, lake, wetland, river, estuary. Man-made ecosystem, where we find crop fields and aquariums. There are the different types of ecosystem. This also we have already studied. And the structure and function of an ecosystem. The next one is how the ecosystem is working upon. What is the structure of the ecosystem? How is it functioning? So also we have said entire biosphere is regarded as global ecosystem. In an ecosystem, both biotic and abiotic components are present, which are interacting with each other. Vertical distribution of different species occupying different levels is called stratification. You can see in the diagram. Ground layer, shrub layer, understory layer, canopy layer, emergent layer, like that. Vertical distribution of the different species occupying different levels is called stratification, that we study in detail in the next classes also. In a forest, we occupy top strata layer. Trees occupy the topmost layer, whereas shrubs occupies the second, and herbs and grasses, which are very small, occupy at the bottom of the layer, ground layer we say. So in this, what is the structure of the ecosystem? How the ecosystem is functioning, that we have studied, taking into account of pond. Taking into example of pond as an ecosystem, we have studied the structure and function of an ecosystem. In this pond, it is a shallow means a little depth. Pond is a shallow, which is a little depth, which is a simple and self-sustainable, can survive by itself, self-sustainable water body that exhibits all basic components of an ecosystem. Whatever the components of ecosystem. So for example, if you say there are 4 components of the ecosystem: productivity, decomposition, energy flow, nutrient cycling. These are the 4 components of the ecosystem. Even the pond is very small, simple, self-sustainable water body. It is having all the components. It is having productivity, it is having decomposition, it is having energy flow, it is having nutrient cycling also. So therefore, pond is considered as one of the ecosystems. It is having abiotic components, water and soil. It is having climatical condition, solar input, cycling of temperature, day length of etc. It is having autotrophic components, phytoplankton, some algae, and the floating, submerged and marginal plants which are living over there. It is also having the consumers, zooplankton, free swimming and bottom dwelling forms. Therefore, this is called the ecosystem. Decomposers, it is having fungi, bacteria, flagellates. Pond performs all the functions of an ecosystem. As I told you previously, pond performs all the functions of an ecosystem. Which are the functions? It converts it converts inorganic into organic material using solar radiant energy by the autotrophs. Here, autotrophs are nothing but the green plants. Autotrophs are the type of organisms that are capable of synthesizing their own food. Autotrophs are the type of organisms which are capable of preparing their own food. All green plants are called the autotrophs because they prepare their own food. So they convert these plants, these green plants converts inorganic material into organic material, capturing the sunlight. Consumption of the autotrophs by the heterotrophs. Whatever the food that is being prepared by the autotrophs is taken in by the heterotrophs. Once when the heterotrophs dies off, they are acted upon by the decomposers and minerals are being formed and it is being recycled back, which is being absorbed by the plants. Therefore, it is having all the four components. Which are the four components? The four basic components of the ecosystem are productivity, decomposition, energy flow, nutrient cycling. We are here till the pond ecosystem we have studied, and today we are going to study the four basic components of an ecosystem. They are the productivity, decomposition, energy flow, nutrient cycling. So these are the four basic components of an ecosystem. Now let us see, what do you mean by the productivity? So the word productivity is solar energy. For the productivity, solar energy is the basic requirement for an ecosystem to function and survive, sustain. For the survival of the ecosystem, solar energy is must. It is needed, very much needed. The solar energy is very much needed because the autotrophs needs the solar energy for the conversion of inorganic material into organic for the preparation of the food. So solar energy plays very important role in the ecosystem. Amount of biomass produced per unit area over a time period by plants during photosynthesis is called primary productivity. So here the productivity may be of two types: primary productivity, secondary productivity. Productivity means it is the amount of food energy that is being prepared by the autotrophs using the sunlight. It is the conversion of inorganic material into organic material by the autotrophs is called productivity. In this productivity, there are during the photosynthesis, energy is produced, food energy is produced, organic matter is produced, biomass is produced and kept in them for their physiological activities to carry out. It is expressed, the biomass that is stored and kept within them is being expressed in weight. It can be gram or it can be kilocalorie. Energy in the form of energy, it can be measured. In the form of weight, it can be measured. The rate of biomass production is called productivity. The rate of biomass or the amount of food energy that is produced is called productivity. So that is one of the productivity. In this productivity, mainly broadly the productivity is divided into two types. One is called the gross primary productivity, what we say in short form GPP. GPP is gross primary productivity, and net primary productivity. In short form, we can say NPP. NPP means net primary productivity. Remember GPP and NPP. So the productivity is broadly grouped into two types: gross primary productivity and net primary productivity. Gross primary productivity, taking into account of gross primary productivity, it is the rate of production of organic matter during photosynthesis. A considerable amount of GPP, gross primary productivity, is utilized by the plant for respiration. Then it is called, when it is used up by during the respiration, whatever the amount of energy that is being left is called net primary productivity. Remember, it is the available biomass for the consumption to the heterotrophs, to passing off the heterotrophs. That is NPP, is gross primary productivity minus respiration loss. The plant, whatever the food that is being prepared, part of that food is being utilized during the respiration. After the respiration, whatever the amount of biomass, food energy that is remained is called net primary productivity. Or other word, in simple term, you can say gross primary productivity means the total biomass that is produced by the autotrophs. Remember, gross primary productivity is the total food energy that is prepared by the autotrophs, producers. It's called gross primary productivity. Then what is the net primary productivity? It is the amount of food energy that is left after the respiration losses. The energy, the biomass that is left after the respiration is called net primary productivity. I can give you best. I used to give the example. Remember, in your house, your father or your mother may be working in one of the government field. Take example, if they are the teachers. If you ask their salary, they will say two types of salaries. One is gross salary and net salary. You ask them in detail what is that gross salary and net salary. Gross salary may be 65,000, but net salary is 45,000 or 40,000. Then what happened rest of the salary? You ask them. Gross salary means the total salary that they are taking in from the government. Out of that, part of the salary is being utilized. You can give the example. They do LIC, insurances they do, tax is being deducted, house loan is being deducted, car loan is being deducted. There are so many deductions will be there. After the deduction, whatever the amount of salary that they get is net salary. Similar way, gross primary productivity is total biomass. Net primary productivity means it is the biomass that is being left after the respiration loss. In other simple word, you can say NPP is equal to net primary productivity is equal to GPP minus R. GPP means gross primary productivity minus respiration. So that will become the net primary productivity. So this will be one of the productivity, what we say, that secondary productivity will come. So primary productivity refers to the plants. Plants prepare the food, part of that is utilized and remained there. Well, the left energy is remained over there with them. Now, secondary productivity means the energy that I get from the plant. It is the rate of formation of new organic matter by consumers. Consumers may be different. Herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, scavengers, decompose. All these will come under the secondary productivity. Remember, all green plants will come under the primary productivity, and rest of the consumers. In consumers, there are different types: herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, decompose, scavengers. Like the different types are there. All will come under the secondary productivity. It is the rate of formation of new organic matter by the consumers is called secondary productivity. Primary productivity varies in different ecosystems because it depends upon the plant species inhabiting a particular area. Where the plant species is living matters, environmental factors, how the abiotic factors are responding. What is the impact of the abiotic factor? That also matters in this case. Availability of nutrients. If the availability of nutrients, you can give the example. In some part of the field, the crops will be growing more. In some part of the field, the crops will be growing very less, because if soil is more fertile, yielding is more. If soil is less fertile, yielding is less. Therefore, availability of nutrients to the soil also matters for the production. Photosynthetic capacity of the plants, or the capacity do the plants have for the preparation of food, also matters. These are some of the responsible factors for the primary productivity. You can see this annual net primary, some brief introduction is given. Annual net primary productivity of whole biosphere, whole earth is about 170 billion tons dry weight. Dry weight, I told you in the biomolecules, what is dry weight that I told of the organic matter. So that will be the 117 billion tons. Of this, despite occupying about 70% of the surface, the productivity of the ocean is only 55 billion tons. So after that productivity, what we say, productivity, next comes the second. There are four basic components of the ecosystem. One of the component is productivity. And the second component of the ecosystem is decomposition. What do we mean by decomposition? What are the decomposers? Remember, earthworm is one of the decomposer. Bacteria is one of the decomposer. These are the examples. If you remember, you can easily remember the definition of the decomposition. It is the breakdown. What do they do? Take the example of earthworm. What is the food of the earthworm? Waste material. Remember, waste organic matter is being taken. So, definition of the decomposition is, it is the breakdown of the complex organic matter by decomposers into inorganic substances like CO2, water, nutrients. Take for example, earthworm. Let us know about that. Whatever the waste material that is being generated in the field of the farmers, they make a pit at one place, put it over there, they add up some soil over the surface of that waste material, and they leave some earthworms, adding water to it. They leave it for few days, maybe months, 15-20 days or even months together they may be living. Once when it depends upon the waste material. Once when they leave it, what do these earthworms do? They start eating the waste material. The waste material may be anything from the field that is being generated. They act upon that, convert into fertile one. Fertile matter is being produced. The earthworm eats up the waste material, takes in part of the nutrient that is required for it, and rest of that will come out of the body. Tons of material come out of the body from the earthworms. We can extract it, even that is used as organic fertilizer, that is used as a fertilizer from the earthworm. So earthworm helps the farmers in many ways. The earthworm helps the farmers. Therefore, earthworms are called friend of farmers. So here, raw material, it is largely an oxygen requiring process. Breaking down of the material, bacteria break down the material. They require large amount of oxygen. Raw material for decomposition is called detritus. The raw material that is required for breaking down of the material is a detritus. Dead plant remains. What are the detritus? Leaves, bark, flowers, even from the field. After the harvesting, the waste that is being generated, also detritus. Dead animals, remains of the animals, fecal matter. There will be so many things which will be call them as detritus. So these bacteria, earthworm, they are called the nature cleaners. They clean up the waste material which is present in the nature. Otherwise, it is not possible to imagine the life. So these help in converting the organic matter and to make it the useful product. Earthworm, I was telling you, earthworm. So this will convert the unfertile into fertile ones, unfertile product into fertile product, waste product into useful product to the farmers. Therefore, they are called the friend of farmers. The farmers take care of these worms. So that process is called vermiculture. Vermiculture is one of the best business that is being carried out in the field. There are multiple business can be done at a time in the same field. We have discussed about that. If take for example honeybee, taking care of the sheep, taking care of the domestic animals, and by production of the biogas, crop field. These all can be done in same small land. So one of the process which the farmers carry out is vermicomposting, vermiculturing. From them they produce the vermicompost that is useful for the crop fields, for the growth of plants. So by this way, the decomposers help. What are the steps for the decomposition? How these bacteria or the earthworm, how do these break down the food material? There are mainly 5 steps. One is called the fragmentation, another one called leaching, another one is called catabolism, another one is called humidification, another one is called mineralization. These are the steps for the decomposition. So in the next class, we will study what each steps mean. What do you mean by the fragmentation? What do you mean by the leaching? What do you mean by catabolism? What do you mean by humidification? What do you mean by mineralization? All these we will study in the next class. So thank you all of you.